Hey guys, welcome to this webinar, and in this video I am really excited because I'm going to share with you a simple, proven, predictable system that's helping law firm owners generate anywhere between 5, 10, 20, even 30 additional new high-ticket clients for your law practice every month on demand and with predictability, and all while reducing work hours and stress. I call this the accelerator effect because, as Jeffrey Immel, the CEO of General Electric, once said, when you put your foot on the gas on this company, this car goes forward. Does your law practice move forward when you step on the gas pedal? While that might sound obvious and blatantly simple, the reality is that most lawyers can't say the same thing. For them, when they step on the gas pedal, their law practices may or may not move forward. And if it does go forward, it may or may not go in the direction they expect or desired. Only lawyers with a predictable system for attracting and closing clients can say, when I put my foot on the gas, my law firm moves forward. Now, the percentage of lawyers that reach the stage of predictable success is small. For many lawyers, even when they do succeed in getting their law practice to move forward for a time, they live with a constant subconscious fear that their practice may stop again at a time or run out of cases. They fear that their calendar won't be filled with appointments, that the leads that do come in won't be enrolled, or where their next customer is going to come from. This leaves them working longer and harder hours. In fact, today, the typical lawyer is living a life far from what they imagined while going through law school. For the average lawyer works between 60 and 80 hours per week. And between the excessive overhead and the fear of getting sick and possibly having your practice coming crashing down around them, it's no wonder the average lawyer is unsatisfied, unfulfilled, and unhappy. Now, the truth is that if you're experiencing these same feelings of stress and overwhelm, you're not alone. It turns out that estimates from around the country report that lawyers are 3.6 times more likely to suffer from depression than non-lawyers, and their desire to grow their firm have left many with anxiety, disappointment, and even emotional distress. So for most lawyers, this is the harsh reality that they live in. But it does not have to be that way. In just a moment, you're going to learn how your law firm could rise to the top of your niche in terms of brand position, sales, and reputations to consistently and predictably attract great clients and cases. And another benefit you might experience as a result of deploying what you learn is ease. What you're going to learn today may transform your law practice and, by extension, transform your life. So this is about more than just making money on your law firm. This is about bringing more simplicity to your law firm. Imagine growing your law firm, hiring other lawyers, finding rockstar managers, and consistently attracting more cases while working less. Imagine building a law firm that runs like a well-oiled machine. This is about you having more freedom. That freedom that you've been yearning to have since you got into law. Financial freedom, emotional freedom, as well as mental freedom. When you utilize the strategies that I show you, you will become magnetic to your ideal customer. You will begin easily attracting them towards you. You will find yourself in greater demand, and you will find yourself able to easily command more fees and price than your competitors. And if done properly, all of this will culminate in an easier, a more predictable, and more efficient sales process to your law firm. Your ads will convert better. Your emails will be read more and will have a higher response. Your sales process will generate more revenue, and your overall customer acquisition will be easier. And the best part of it all is that you will be delivering a great customer experience even before the sale ever occurs. What you're about to discover will position you as one of the good guys in your marketplace. You'll turn prospects into fans, fans into customers, and customers into long-term business partners that will reward you with referrals and their business for years. Plus, the law firms that deploy these strategies will inevitably be attracting the best cases in your area. So a little quick about me. My name is Hector, and I am the co-founder of Lawyers Digital Marketing and the creator of Top Lawyer Ads, The 17 Habits of Successful Lawyers, and many other books and training programs. And I teach law firm owners to use machine learning, big data, and AI to generate more cases predictably. And in just a few moments, I'm going to reveal how you can get 5, 10, 20, even 30 additional clients every month on demand predictably. we're going to be talking about a technology that is helping us get a list of all of the people that are actively searching for you in real time without being at the mercy of Google or Facebook. I mean, imagine having a complete list of the people who are considering buying your services. Imagine having the ability to recognize these prospects by name and address before any one of your competitors. You're going to learn about a brand new disruptive technology that will give you this ability while decreasing your cost per acquisition by 25 to 75%. I'm also going to share with you the simple, proven two-step system that generates leads and clients to your law practice like clockwork, and how you could put this to work starting right now. So if you are an established lawyer looking for a predictable way to generate clients on demand for your law firm, so you no longer have to chase prospects or clients for more business, and you want a proven way to scale your law firm over the next 12 months, then you're definitely in the right place and you're going to love what I'm going to share with you. Now, the people that I mainly help are lawyers who own a small or big law firm, people who already have associates and lawyers and who simply want to grow much quicker and scale their law firms using a predictable system for attracting clients. The great thing about this technology is that it only targets the people that are ready to hire you. It provides great value to your market. It has prospects chasing you for answers on their cases before any of the competing law firms in your area. It can work with any budget and is based on proven results. Also, there's nothing for sale in this video. I want to say that there's nothing for sale, but at the end, if you want to talk to us to learn more about how this works and what you could be doing to use this in your law firm, you'll have an opportunity to do so at the end of this presentation. Now, does this sound like you? Some months where you have cash and clients pouring in your law practice, but you can't seem to maintain it? Or do you start every month wondering where the next client is going to come from? Do you secretly know your work is worth more than what you're charging, but you're afraid if you raise your prices, nobody will pay them? Or are you taking clients that aren't a good fit, but you're afraid to turn them away because you need the money? Do you see other lawyers who are more successful than you and wonder how they did it? Or are you working too hard in your law practice, too many hours, and burning yourself out? And finally, have you tried different ways to get clients like buying leads, PPC, SEO, Facebook, etc., and none of them have worked consistently month after month for you? All of these are symptoms of 5 much bigger problems inside your law firm. And by the end of this video, you will learn how to eliminate all of these problems. First of all, if you are in the law practice business, I'm sure you have noticed that most lawyers fall in one of these 2 categories. The first is the grinders, some people that make money sometimes but no money most of the times, or who spend too much time making too little, or they spend more and more time chasing clients than actually serving them. They're constantly putting out fires, in need of more cases, importing objectives, slipping through the cracks, not enough hours in a day, and have scaling issues. The second group I call the rainmakers, the lawyers who are absolutely crushing it, making more and more money, having their phone ringing with interested, qualified prospective clients, opening more offices, building wealth, and spending less time doing it. And some even sell their law firms for a small fortune with a great retirement. So what is it that allows some lawyers to make millions, fly private, build 7- and 8-figure law firms, while others make less than they would on a full-time job or struggle to pay rent? Why is it that some lawyers take managing cases on a day-to-day basis feeling like they're fighting fires all day long and have to scrape up the small cases and get stuck with the unreasonable clients and the unqualified clients, while the rainmakers get the big cases, the best managers, rockstar employees, and reach financial and mental freedom, all while actually working less? Well, I have realized that the rainmakers have 2 things present in their business, while the grinders only have 1, or most of the time, none. And the truth is that if you have both of these things present in your law practice, it becomes very easy and predictable to attract 5, 10, 20, even 30 additional clients to your law practice every single month. The best way that I could describe this to you is with a story about how the Wright brothers invented the world's first airplane. Back in 1903, the race was on to invent the world's first airplane that could fly. And most people became utterly obsessed with the engine. People started inventing larger and larger engines and more horsepower, completely ignoring the aerodynamics and the wings. Well, this resulted in some of the world's fanciest and most powerful engines the world had ever seen, but it also resulted in planes that could not get off the ground. Now, they were great to look at, but they were completely useless. The Wright brothers took a different approach. While the whole world obsessed over the engines, the Wright brothers looked at the plane's aerodynamics and wings. They first focused on a plane that could glide without an engine first, and then strapped an ordinary engine to it later. And voila, the world's first flying airplane was invented. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and let this next point really sink in, because it's a big one. And it's the exact opposite to what everybody else is doing out there. Today, many marketers and lawyers are repeating the history of the engine obsession. Most lawyers are worried about their appointment book not being filled, leads coming in and not enrolling them, so they work longer and harder hours and completely ignore their system to convert that traffic into high-paying clients to their law firm. Now, remember how I told you how the rainmakers have two things in the law practice that the grinders don't? Well, those two things are the following. Number one, high quality converting and targeted traffic. And number two, a proven system that will turn that traffic into high-paying clients. Because it comes down to this. If you can't pay money to acquire new clients, then you don't have a law firm. Now, let's get down to the business and show you exactly how you can get a predictable system for generating high-ticket clients in your law practice. So Peter Drucker, one of the best known and most widely influential thinkers and writers on the subject of management and marketing, said, "The only two things that matter in business is marketing and innovation." Innovation means the services that you provide, as a lawyer in this case. And marketing is finding the best way to deliver it, to put it in the hands of the customers. And the rest is only an expense. Successful law firm owners understand that marketing is their number one job. After all, marketing produces cases. Without cases, there are no clients. And no clients means no law firm. Successful lawyers don't let fellow lawyers, employees, and day-to-day duties of running a law firm distract them from their number one job, marketing their business. If you're not making the money you want in your law firm, then let me ask you these two questions. How many consults did you and your team do in the last 7 days? If there weren't many consults, then answer me this. What did you do in the last 7 days to try and generate more consults and appointments to your law firm? You see, in the law industry, it's very easy to get distracted by all the day-to-day tasks, but the reality is that generating consultations and conducting them are the only two things that matter. The rainmakers in the law game, the players with true liquid wealth and sales that would trump others' best sales months, have a predictable way of generating clients, and they know these two metrics to the dollar. Number one, the cost to generate a consultation, and number two, the cost to acquire a client, and they know it to the dollar. When you have a predictable system for generating clients and you know these two numbers, every month is as simple as looking at your calendar and seeing how much time you have available for consultations, and then spend the required amount of money to generate those consultations to fill up your calendar. While the grinders are strapping larger and larger engines and working longer hours, the rainmakers are spending a predictable amount of money to generate a predictable amount of consultations to get a predictable amount of clients and profits. So how do we do this? First, you have to understand what you're up against. You have to understand the 5 fundamental problems that are stopping you. Every company has a basic fundamental problem. That problem is that they like to be more profitable. They like to grow their profits. And strategy is defined as a way to win. For example, if you were to draw a circle and that circle represented your industry, inside that circle, there's a finite amount of profit. There's a limited amount of profit in every industry. And you're only getting, for argument's sake, 1% of that circle. That means that your current strategy is only producing 1% of the money in that market. Now, how do you increase your profits? How can you grab more of that circle? Well, the first thing you have to do is to analyze not only what you're doing, but who you're losing it to. If you're only winning 1%, you're losing 99%. But who are you losing that 99% to? The first person that you're losing it to are rival companies, law firms that do what you do. The second person you're losing to are substitutes. These are the companies that do something similar, close enough that it could be considered a solution. The third thing that you're losing to is the customer bargaining power, powerful consumers. These are high ticket cases. They have options, they can negotiate lower prices. Consumer asks for more value, increasing your costs. And both of those things lower your profits. Profit equals price minus cost. The fourth thing is powerful supplier, the supplying bargaining power. There's a lot of different types of suppliers, but what we're going to talk about is your marketing suppliers. Companies like Google and Facebook. If they change their terms or increase their costs, raise their prices, they're going to increase your costs and therefore lower your profit. So the costs are going up across the board, whether it's the small guys or the big guys. Everyone is facing cost increases. So AdWords is more expensive. Facebook is getting more expensive. The display channels are getting more expensive. It doesn't matter what channel you're using. This one's one that a lot of lawyers don't realize, but those suppliers are people like AdWords and Facebook. Those are the two main channels that you go to get leads. And because of that, they raise their prices because more people come to the platform. You are getting crushed by that. And Facebook will continue to raise its prices because for every advertiser that they have, there's 100 behind them. And fifth, the last one that you're competing with is the threat of entry. New competitors coming into the market. So more law firms are getting stuck with the naysayers and the time wasters and the unreasonable clients. And there are 43,000 new lawyers graduating each year. So how are you going to differentiate yourself from all these people? What I've seen is that when you look at Facebook and AdWords, not only have the cost gone up for many law firm owners, but we see a lower quality in the lead. So because of that, budgets that used to get the job done now have increased. So the quality of the leads are down and the quantity of the leads are down. Those are the five things, the five forces that you compete against as a company for profits. So if your strategy currently only produces 1%, therefore it is losing 99%. And now you know today who you're losing it to. You have to be open-minded to exploring a strategy that can attack and win more of that 99%. And if what you're doing now does not win more than 1%, the reason you're losing is because it does not address directly how to beat rivals, substitutes, powerful consumers, powerful suppliers, and the threat of entry. Now, we want to share with you the two-step system that has allowed us to permanently beat all five of these problems. The foundation of what we do is people-based marketing. And I want you to imagine for just a second having a complete list of the people who are considering buying your services. I want you to imagine for just a moment having the ability to recognize these prospects by name and address before any one of your competitors. We know the names of the people we're reaching out to, that we are marketing to. We have a database of 225 million people that we know by name. We know who they are, we know their addresses, and we know their phone numbers. And what we do is that we track all of that behavior that they do online, all the websites that they go, the keywords that they search, anything they use to search or browse the internet. We are collecting that behavior and we are connecting that back to our database. So what we have is a giant listing engine. We know that, as an example, John Smith is currently looking at all of these websites, doing all of these searches as it relates to a topic. And so that's the first level of what we have. From that, we're able to deduce that there are certain people in our data that are interested now in something that is topical, like hiring a lawyer. And so people search things before they take action. People don't just hire a lawyer. There is a research phase. They have to educate themselves. How much does a lawyer cost? What are the payment arrangements? How long do you have practiced law? What type of cases do you generally handle? So we take all those questions, all that behavior, we pick up that behavior, and we can tell when someone starts the first steps of hiring a lawyer. And so along that way, they may navigate sites like, findlaw.com or legalmatch.com or specific law firms in your area. And so other marketing providers, they're trying to grab people who are already looking at specific law firms. And so we pick up the entire life cycle, everything from when they start to the very end. And because we picked up on all those behaviors, we're able to market to those people on any device, on any platform, because we're not looking for them. We know who they are. We're not limited to someone just sending us a lead. We know this person is actively looking for what you do, and they're researching and educating themselves about what you do. What we have when we work with our clients is two different types of lists of people. The first we call in market. These are people that, because of their behavior, because of the sites that they have been searching, we know they're actively pursuing hiring a lawyer. These are the first group of people we can market to and start generating awareness with them. We can start educating them on why they should choose you. The second group of people on our list, we call them in funnel. These are the people that are actively looking for a lawyer and are considering getting your help specifically. The reason we know that is because they have been to your website. They know who you are, but maybe they haven't reached out. They haven't filled out the contact form, or they haven't booked a consultation. All of this allows us to have is perfect timing. We find and talk to the right person at the right time with the technology, and because we own and control the data, we can go and load that wherever we want. We can run ads on Facebook, we can run ads on Google, and we can pay lower prices than all of your competition. Because if someone says, hey, you want to run a Google AdWords campaign and show up on people's search, if you do that, then you will end up paying a lot more than we would pay to reach the same people. So our benefit is that we see a 25 to 75% cost drop. But additionally, we're seeing people build awareness with the right people. So they say branding does not work, and generally it does not work unless you're branding to the right person. For us, we can be everywhere for those people that are in market, people who are qualified and actively looking to hire a lawyer. So for us, as complex as this technology is, we track people who display interest in hiring a lawyer. And part of the ways we improve on the technology is that we can start looking back on what people did before they hired you. We can go back in time and ask what exactly did they do up to the point where they hired you and became a client. So for us, we have the ability to reverse engineer a path that they take to purchase. And through time, we will get better and better at identifying these paths, be in front of them before anybody else, more often than anybody else, and more affordably than anybody else. So the advantage is that it simply makes you the default choice. So if you're the first person that they hear about, and they hear about you more often than anybody else, and your value proposition is reasonable as a consumer or buyer, that's the person that becomes the default choice. Now, I want to show you quick case studies with one of our clients. One of our partners was working with Walmart on their eye care division. They were spending 7 figures on ads. Now, we kept the ads, we kept the landing pages, and offer the same. With our data, we lowered acquisition costs by over 40%. Now, companies of that size fight for inches in the trenches, and they got a mile. Personal injury is a tough market online. This data is strong enough to win the biggest cases in your area on merit alone. Another case study is from the Mississippi Hyundai dealer. He guaranteed sales for $450 a piece. The goal was to sell 120 cars over the next 90 days. So we excluded anyone who had bought in the last 5 years and anyone who had been serviced in the last 2 years. The end result was 99 new cars and 56 used cars for a total of 155 cars sold. The campaign used was multiple channels, and the ad spent was $150 per car. So we were able to show that 90% of the time, the first click that was made was with one of our ads. Here's another case study with a cancer center that was paying $215 per lead on Facebook, and they were okay with those results. Using this data, they made a lookalike audience on Facebook. And after running our data, they were able to get leads at scale for $36. The only new ingredient in this was our data, and it dropped their lead cost by 83% with no drop in quality. In fact, they saw an increase in the quality of the leads. But even though this technology was reserved for large national clients, we're opening our doors to partnering with personal injury lawyers that serve local clients. So at the moment, you can expect these results. We're getting cost per lead from $35 to $85 with an average case conversion rate of 5 to 10% and an average cost per case of $400 to $800. Step number 2 is in funnel. So now that we're generating the right traffic, we can now focus on step number 2 with the right message. A message that strikes a nerve and it generates a response. We do this by calling out your ideal client and speak about his pain in a vivid, detailed way that makes him feel like we tore a page right out of his personal diary and they must have the answer to their problem. Once we get their attention, we can prove that we can help them by actually solving a part of their problem for free via educational marketing. And then finally, we roll out the red carpet and ask them to reach out if they would like additional help. This second step is critical. You see, as it turns out, the attorney market is very different to other markets. And the reason is simple. Nobody has a desire to hire an attorney. People have a desire to watch Netflix, drink morning coffee, and go on vacations. Attorneys don't fulfill desires like other products and businesses do. If you're a lawyer, you're in the business of solving problems, very real and very serious problems. So your marketing has to be different and it has to be education based. You focus solely on solving a single problem and make sure that the prospects know you understand it inside out. And you do that by educating the market. To them, you're their hero, their knight in shining armor, because you're the first person that they see with our in-market leads, and you give the most value to them by answering all of their questions and concerns. Now, the raw reality is that many lawyers are not aligning themselves to the urgent needs of their market. They're not using education to have instant expert status that separates them from all the other lawyers in the market, especially not in the internet. So the result of executing this correctly is that you will have a predictable way of generating 5, 10, 20, even 30 additional clients to your law firm. And the best part is that you will know down to the dollar and day how your law firm's marketing efforts will perform. You will finally have that accelerator pedal that moves your business forward. So let's recap. The first person and second people that you're losing to are rival companies and substitutes, law firms that do what you do. So we are giving our partners exclusivity in the area where they practice. Your competitors will not be able to have this technology. We know who is in market, and because we can target them anywhere, We will be able to get leads cheaper and get them to convert better than any of your competitors. The third thing that you're losing to is consumer bargaining power. Powerful consumers. These are high ticket cases. And because we know who's in market, we will be able to show your ads more consistently than any of your competitors to your ideal client. So all of this allows us to have perfect timing. We find and talk to the right person at the right time with this technology. And because we own and control the data, we can go and load that wherever we want. We can run ads on Facebook, we can run ads on Google, and we can pay lower prices than all of your competition. Because if someone says, hey, you want to run a Google AdWords campaign and show up on people search, you would end up paying a lot more than we would pay to search for the same people. So again, our benefit is that we see a 25 to 75% cost drop. But additionally, we're building awareness with the right people. So they say branding does not work, and again, it generally does not work unless you're branding to the right person. So for us, we can be everywhere for those people that are in market, people who are qualified and actively looking to hire a lawyer. So for us, as complex as this technology is, we can track people who display interest in hiring a lawyer. And part of the ways we improve on this technology is that we can start looking back on what people did before they hired you. We can go back in time and ask exactly what they did up to the point where they hired you and became a client. So we have the ability to reverse engineer a path that they take to purchase, and through time we will get better and better at identifying these paths and be in front of them before anyone else, more often than anyone else and more affordably than anyone else. So the advantage of that is that it simply makes you the default choice. And the fourth thing is a powerful supplier. Again, you rely on companies like Google and Facebook. If they change their terms or increase their costs or raise their prices, they're going to increase your cost, therefore lower your profit. So you're getting crushed by that. Nobody listens better to the marketplace than we do. We're tracking 200 plus million people as they navigate, as they search websites. We track them on a URL level. We track their keyword search, and we're looking exactly at what they're searching. That listening is what we use to determine not only what they're in market for, but what message we should be using to attract them to be your clients. There's no software out there that allows you to attract on more channels than we do. Google, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, display ads, direct mail, email, outbound, phone call, every channel possible on every device on any platform. So we have the ability to attract better than anybody. We know what to say, and we have the greatest numbers of ways to attract them. So therefore, we're always going to get the most cost-effective way to attract them. We do all of this attracting in order to have a conversation. Conversations rather than ad campaigns. We're able to have a conversation before any of your rivals and your competitors, because we know before anyone else when a prospect is in market. We know when someone is in funnel. We know when they're considering and preparing to buy from you. So we're able to have the conversation first, and we're able to have the conversation as often as we want. We're able to control and talk about whatever conversation we want to have and not have it be dictated by a powerful supplier like Google or Facebook. And the last one is the threat of entry, new competitors coming into the market. We simply will not offer this technology for more people in the future. Right now we're looking for strategic partners. We work with one client per area, so because we won't compete with ourselves. Our vision is to work with one client in each area. And right now, if you're watching this webinar, you're getting the right of first refusal. You're one of the first we reached out to in your area, and we like you to be our partner. We know who is in market, and because we can target them anywhere, we will be able to get leads cheaper and get them to convert better than any of your competitors. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. If you're seeing this, what we're able to do with this technology will drastically shift the strategy of many law firms in the US. If you do not act now and learn how you could leverage this For your law practice, your competitor might. So the next steps is to fill out your application, select the date that best works for you. We will review the application and reach out. And in this call, we will go over your sales process and your current goals. We will discuss how you can apply our data to your law practice. And this data will get better over time. This is going to be the most disruptive thing in digital marketing since the advent of it. And when disruption occurs, wealth is redistributed from the uninformed to the informed. And right now there is an unprecedented opportunity for growth. For those that do the work will reap all the benefits and build healthy, profitable law firms. And others will continue to do the same thing they have been doing, and they will continue getting the same results. Now is the time to get ahead. Lawyers across the country are in an equal playing field, and the position to have one of the most successful law firms in the country may be yours for the taking. So if this is something you want to learn how to use in your law firm and you want to leverage this data, click the button below and send us your application. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for attending this webinar, and I hope to speak to you really soon.